Hi, good afternoon. I can't hear you. Hi, good afternoon. Louder, please. Good afternoon. Oh, so you all have woken up from your slumber, it seems now. So I'll start the session. When I think about innovation, let me have on a lighter note, I would say I only think about Urfi Javed. Right. Any other fashion innovation that you guys are aware of? Anyone can raise their hands and tell me about it. Yeah. Oh, can we have a serious conversation now? It was only for me. Okay, so let's start the serious conversation with us, with our panelist over here. I would like all of you, from starting from Pankaj, to introduce yourself and tell us how brands are actually embracing innovation to stay ahead of the competition.
Hi, I am Pankaj. I was ex-Chief Technology and Product Officer at Fashion Lifestyle, Ajio, Reliance Retail, Lenskart, Freecharge. So, if I remember my Lenskart days, and we were probably among the first to take this whole virtual try-on adoption at a scale. And also the other thing was the clienteling, the assisted selling, which now everybody is talking about, but I'm talking way back 2017. And if you go to Lenskart store, you would have seen these iPad app. And then from there to other companies that I served, and if I come to Ajio, one of the critical innovation that we had to adopt has been personalization, because we serve customer from the value to mid-premium, premium, and then luxury, if you know Ajio Lux, right? And if we are not adopting personalization, it would be very difficult for us to serve. With AI and ML, especially the generative AI, we have also adopted AI into catalog. How can we turn around? How can we create richer content, catalog, correct catalog, turnaround? Why I've taken this various example is because I wanted to bring out certain threads which I see common across the organization. That when it comes to adoption of innovation, I see few common things. One is that look at the consumer journey. And if we can create a more seamless, integrated journey throughout at various stages of the consumer journey, right from discovery to returns in case of retail, especially e-commerce, and then do it seamless manner across channel, and identifying technology trend. That is sort of one guiding principle that I have used in adoption. Second common thread that I have seen is that build a culture of innovation. Enable your team to experiment. Make sure the team is not lost in day-to-day huddle and your monthly and weekly targets. So create a space and culture to try out, experiment with things. And also important that create a culture which can embrace failure. In many organizations, I have seen that it is okay if failure happen at the CXO level, but not below, but that doesn't work. So that culture has to be imbibed. And third important thing I would share is that overcome, especially coming from tech background, I have faced this a lot, that overcome this culture of, or this syndrome which I call as not invented here syndrome. Right? That also slows you down and make you laggard in adopting new technology or innovation. Right? So for example, in Lenskart, when we launched 3D try-on, we did not say we would build the entire technology. We looked at somebody who already had a core technology in image processing. We had to build a team in image processing and then launch it. We basically scaled it and productized it. So if I have to share few common learnings across, those would be my sharings.
Good.
Thanks, Pankaj. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, Charu, for having me on this panel. I represent Taneira, and Taneira is the youngest brand from Titan Company Limited, and it is in the women's ethnic wear space. Taneira, through its 50+ stores and online, offers design differentiated saris, ready-to-wear kurtas and blouses made from pure and natural fibers and sourced from across 100 weaving clusters of the country, we try to bring the best of India under one roof. That's what we do. And when it comes to innovation, this is a very unorganized sector, and we all know that. And what we are trying to do is trying to bring some order in the chaos here. We're trying to organize the unorganized, and we are doing it not to stay ahead of the competition, but we are doing it because the industry really needs it. And we are in fact looking for more and more players in this space who have business models based on sustainability. And some of the initiatives that I might just like to talk about are, the first one is the Weaver Shala initiative. Now, what we do is that we are upgrading the infrastructure of the weavers' workplace and improving their design capabilities so their products can be marketed well in today's times. We are building an app for the weavers so that we can digitalize the sourcing. We are working with a lot of botanic origin fibers, so that's an innovation in the materials. And one of the examples I would like to give is that we have tied up with a company called Lenzing in Austria, and they have produced this wonderful filament called Tencel Lux, which has qualities which are so similar to silk in terms of their sheen, the luster, and the strength, and the color fastness. And we brought out a collection called Vegan Visions last year, and it is a runaway success. And the women, especially the younger women, are just loving it. It's one of our fastest growing category. And in fact, it also won an award from PETA. PETA giving out awards sounds like music to the ears, but we are thankful for them for this encouragement. On the product side, we are doing a lot of innovation in how we can make wearing sari cool for especially the younger women. And we are working a lot on how we can make saris easy to drape, ready to drape, or even lightweight. So, the younger women adopt it very quickly. In terms of online, we are working on returns, as you rightly said, and we've tied up with Yale University, and we are working with them to make sure that when the customer selects that Mera Wala pink on the app, and what they receive is actually the pink that they had selected. So we're working with them, and we believe that this will really reduce our returns by 30%. So these are some of the innovations that we are trying to do. There are a lot more, but maybe that for later. Thanks.
But when you say that you are not doing all this to stay ahead of the competition, but is it actually helping you stay ahead of the competition?
Well, I wouldn't say that we are competing with anyone. What we are trying to do is bring value to our customers and maximize that value. One of the other things that we're really doing is how can we bring down the price of our products, and that's very critical. And by bringing these innovations and by doing a lot of cost optimization without compromising on the product quality, we have been able to reduce our prices by over 20%. And this is not we don't negotiate with the weavers. I mean, that's not what we do, but we try to do a lot of re-engineering and trying to do a lot of optimization in our processes and the way we function so that we can reduce our prices for the customers and making saris more affordable for our customers.
Sure. So Lavanya, if you can introduce yourself and tell us about how you are embracing innovation to stay ahead of the competition.
Thanks, Charu. Thanks for having me here. Hello, everyone. My name is Lavanya. I'm CEO at Zivame. I think Zivame needs no introduction. Obviously, started as a D2C company, solving all the women's innerwear needs. Today, we are a truly omni-retail company. We have about more than 170 stores. So innovation actually at Zivame is like very core to what we do at Zivame. Just to summarize, I think so. For me, I look at innovation at 3 levels, which are like something which I focus and which we work with team very, very closely. One is consumer understanding. Like while we did this expansion from being a very online D2C, e-commerce driven company. And today we have 180 stores. We are in general trade. We actually sell through LFS counters. Understanding of the consumer in each of those channels becomes very important. Okay, so you get different data points. Digital, you get a lot of data point about the consumer, their preference. Everybody says India is land of many countries, which we also see, right? The consumer preference in each of the each of the city or the region kind of changes. So for you to have that data, understanding of that consumer to service out there, what is the inventory you will keep in that store? E-commerce more easy because you can just show, she can choose and you can sell. But how do you take that data and actually apply to ensure that you have the correct assortment? Say in a store in Delhi, will be different assortment than what you have in Bangalore. So I think so innovation and use of data around that is very, very important. I think so everybody is talking about personalization. How do you make it more relevant? So whether it's our fit code technology, where you don't need to use a measuring tape and you can kind of get your size. How do you imbibe that into your consumer shopping experience becomes very important. So one is on consumer, how are you understanding? And then the second of what comes out of it is the product. So product, obviously innovation. So it can be in the products what we make, like our miracle bra or a sari shapewear what we made, which kind of replaced the petticoat what typical women wear. Then in terms of the miracle bra, which is the lightest bra, when you kind of wear, it feels to like a second skin out of it. People who didn't want an underwire, we created a underwire bra. So in terms of innovation, understanding the consumer pain point and then making innovative products to solve a specific consumer problem is the second bit of place where we do innovation, right? The third thing which I feel has huge potential for any industry is actually supply chain. More so in retail is supply chain. How do you optimize inventory? How do you ensure that you service the consumer the fastest way? The consumer gets the products, predict the trends, make products according to it. The amount of innovation in processes, what you can do in supply chain, for me, I think so, especially in this place, is like really, really immense. I would say these are like my top priorities when it comes to innovation in our company.
Very informative.
Hi, my name is Preeti Gupta, and I'm the Chief Business Officer at Nykaa Fashion. I head most of the brands of Nykaa, which is the ethnic brands, the lingerie brands, the men's lingerie brand, men's innerwear brands, athleisure brands, etc. So I'll take the example of one brand, if I may, just so that it's easier to relate to it. Imagine a world where 80% of women are wearing wrong bras and they are uncomfortable. There is back is paining, shoulders are paining, and generally low self-esteem as well, because when the bra is not working, you're adjusting, you're just uncomfortable. And it's not because she doesn't want the right perfect product. It's not because the perfect product is probably not available. It's just because everything is not coming together in terms of the right flywheel getting created. So about 2.5 years back, we actually said that we want to simplify this journey for the Indian woman. And we started conceptualizing this brand, which is called NYKD by Nykaa, and it's actually pronounced naked by Nykaa. So as good as naked or as comfortable as being naked. As I start this conversation, I think I'd probably like to share a small experience of my own. I used to actually go into trial rooms and fit women, and I had this mother, daughter 1 and daughter 2. So this daughter was getting married, and so this bride was coming to the store to fit, and another sister of hers. The three of them walk in. The younger girl is about 16, little, like still developing, very large for her size, uncomfortable. The bride was absolutely perfectly well done. She was absolutely clear what she wanted. And the mother was there, okay, because, in India, parents who don't give you 10 rupees for a movie suddenly get up and say, 10 lakh ka check le lo. So that's how they were in that conversation. And in that conversation, we suddenly, in the trial room, actually, the bride fitted. Then the younger girl said, I actually told her, why didn't you come in and let me see what you're wearing? And when she removed her bra, there were red marks all over her body. She had absolutely no idea what she was wearing. And this is a well-off family. It's not like they don't have the money. And then, of course, we fitted her. She was whatever she left. And then actually we waited outside the trial room and I was speaking to the mother. So I said, so how is it? What do you wear? And the mother actually turned around and said, I've never really figured out what works for me. So whatever I get, I wear. And when I actually took her to the trial room and did a photo on her phone of before and after the right bra, she actually had tears in her eyes. She said, I wish there were people who could just explain this to us. So when we were launching Naked, this was actually one of the key goals for us, North Star for us, that we wanted to ensure that women are extremely comfortable with what they get. And really their innerwear is the least of the concerns that they have as they are spending their whole day. So obviously Nykaa, we're superb at educating consumers. We've really nailed it. We fully work very well closely with consumers in understanding their journey and understanding how we can build it out. So we put together a kick-ass product team and they work, of course, at outstanding products, solving consumer products like challenges like Lavanya was also pointing out. But more importantly, we actually are not a site brand of many. We are just stating, okay, we want only 5 things. So if anybody presents 20 products, we cut it out. We say, unless you're truly innovating, unless you're really bringing something new to the consumer, let's not do it. Let's constantly question things from the consumer's lens. And hence, that's one innovation that we do on product. Second thing that we do on innovation is our bra advisor tool. So we actually devised a tool which lets you take about 12 questions on your current experience of the bras. So the red marks, tightness, back pain, shoulder pain, etc., etc. And it recommends a product for you which is perfect. 99% efficacy of bra advisor tool. It's won several awards in India as well on what we've developed. And it really helps consumers. It's almost like selecting a song on Spotify, like the speed with which you can select a song. Similarly, you can select actually the bra for yourself as well, without any tape, without anything at all. Just your previous experience and you get a recommendation. And lastly, I think while everything is internal, finally consumers have to really get it. And unless your communication really states that extremely clearly and is relatable, you'll never have a connect with the consumer. So I think when we launched the brand, we actually ensured we were the first brand ever to actually have a Sakshi. I think she's there in the evening today. She was our first model that we shot with, really to show diversity of body types. We had a dark model, little larger one, a little athletic one. We've had regular people coming and talking about their journey in our social media handles. We really built out the brand from a lot of user-generated content versus really the brand talking about it and saying, okay, we are the best at this, best at that, and really discovered and grew with the consumer really as a brand. So I think 3 ways of innovating for us. And actually, I totally agree with Ambuj. I don't think it's a great idea to innovate to stay ahead of competition. I think it's more important to have it as a part of your DNA, number 1. And number 2, to really ensure that the consumer, or the woman in my case, is confident, comfortable, and beautiful. And she should really feel that.
Very well said, as Ambuj said right now. So every panelist over here has discussed how they are innovating in their brands. Lavanya, I want to know from you, what role does technology plays in helping the brands innovate?
I think so. Data is power. It has been established, and technology is here to stay. Being a digital-first company, I think so. The way we are wired is that technology obviously comes forefront in our organization. So It's so much so that data kidhar hai? Hamara first question hai data kidhar hai? So I think so technology obviously plays a very, very important role. Whether it is understanding of our consumer, whether it is how we are servicing your consumer, the supply chain, I think so the biggest amount of work what we have done over past a couple of years is in supply chain, whether it is identification of warehouse, to ensure that you are able to deliver the product in the least minimum possible where that warehouse has to be. So I feel data is obviously very, very integral. Also, it kind of, with AI coming in, generative AI, you can kind of build content which is more relatable to the customer, right? People were talking about marketing, say even in our photo shoots. Today, I think so it's become so convenient to actually create that mood when it comes to the photo shoot itself. Like if you're doing a swim shoot, you can actually create that kind of environment to kind of relate with that product, right? So I think so technology is integral part of every operations, at least what we are doing. Design, which at certain point of time was more manual. I remember a couple of years back, people like really drawing. Today it is all done on technology. They need bigger screens, they need bigger things to kind of do it. So I feel technology is here to stay. Like I can't think about a day without being technology being there.
So it helps you in innovating further?
Yes, definitely. It gives you data. You can see data at the tips of your finger. You can take decisions. More than anything else, it helps you to validate your assumptions or actually challenge the assumptions what you have, right? So I think so. Definitely, technology is here to stay.
So, Preeti, when you talked about how you are actually developing products, do you also personalize to innovate further?
So let me take the example of Nykaa Fashions, just so that it'll be easier. There was an Asian Paints ad, Mera Wala Pink, and you keep on searching, Mera Wala Pink nahi mil raha. So I think e-commerce has really opened that up because you can just keep on searching an infinite amount of searching. And, Amazon is all about search, and you search for the keyword and you land at the product, you shop, leave. Whereas fashion is all about, okay, let me experience this also, let me see that also. I want to see the trend. I want to see what that influencer is wearing. I want to see what I bought last time, where is the largest discount, what is the last quality of fabric. It's a maze. And I think a lot of women end up getting overwhelmed with it. And at Nykaa Fashion, we actually felt true to our DNA that we really wanted to simplify shopping on e-commerce for consumers. And I think our team works obsessively, our ML team works obsessively around data mining and how we can personalize these conversations. I'll give you an example. There are lots of teams are actually spending time on how did you land? What's your heat map as you landed? What are you seeing more of? How many times did you see it? How much is lying in the cart? Where does it move from the cart to the... How do we nudge you to move from the cart to actually checking out? How do we work on returns? So I think the amount of personalization that we are able to get to really helps the consumer journey. It not only helps us in understanding and delivering a better product to the consumer, but more importantly, a better journey as well. I'm saying product because actually 30% of our business comes from the recommendations module. So anytime when you're on a product page, you'll see a section of we recommend this, and that's purely a data-led, personalized recommendation for that particular consumer basis their browsing history and the way they've developed it, the way they've landed there. And 30% of the business comes from there. So that's one. Second is in terms of just the journey, because there are easy fixes of saying sort by price, sort by discount, but you really will never be able to build any sort of a relationship if you just leave it at price, because finally somebody other will be there who's ready to lose more and more money, right? So it's extremely important that you're able to build an equation with brands and consumers, which is live and relatable. So for example, a lot of women, even in today's room, I'm seeing are wearing the latest quad sets. But how many sites know what quad sets are and are able to tag it and are able to actually work around it, like the way Nykaa Fashion does? Because we just go by how many search words are saying, what is trending, how can we tag it back. There's a whole set of team which is available who actually we've done things like, we've integrated almost 800 stores of brands with our platform, which means if there is a quad set that, for example, W has launched and that W's store is integrated with our platform, that style will be live for you because you're interested in quad sets. So that's an incredible amount of personalization that we've gone into. And I think we're still just on the surface. I think there is just insane amount of tech which is going to obviously come up as we see in the last 2 years it has developed. I think the other part of personalization is really conversion. How much can we really push towards CRM? How much couponing can we do? How much discount can we push? So there's a whole lot of work around there. And one of our favorite subjects, as Pankaj started with, which is returns. I think ML team goes crazy in terms of how can we optimize the supply chain, in terms of what can be done, what can be returns. And while it sounds like it's not personalization important, but actually it's critical to it. Because consumers don't enjoy the journey of buying 5 and then realizing I did not need 4 of them, or they did not fit me, or they're not the right size, not color, not the right fit, etc., etc. So I think the North Star for Nykaa Fashion is really about simplifying the journey for the consumer and seeing as to how we can really add value, get her to shop, enjoy, create a unique experience for her.
I guess the consumer today is very evolved and they expect personalization from the brand and innovation along with it. It's a need of the hour.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Pankaj, my next question to you is, virtual fitting rooms is another innovation which is there and many brands are adopting these days. So how do you think virtual fitting rooms are actually helping the brands to stay sustainable and innovate simultaneously?
Yeah. So this is a remarkable example of how, as I mentioned, 2015-16, I started virtual try-on in Lenskart and how it has evolved. So when I joined Ajio, I thought, it is easy, I have done it. And I was also advising a jewelry company where I helped them with this. But it is so different. I mean, doing it for eyewear and then doing it for jewelry versus doing it for fashion is, firstly, it is a bunch of categories and each category is not same. And then to see the fitment, so we have not been able, I think nobody has been able to crack the virtual try-on for in especially apparel category, right? But there are signs and symptoms, but it helps as, in the consumer journey, making it simplify, nobody want to return a product. It's a disappointment. I ordered something, or consumer ordered something for an occasion and then say it is not fitting right, or it is not that color. Right? So I see that in case of fashion, while the virtual try-on the digital platform forms the base, we have to build the surrounding tools where the customer can interact and give feedback, and then you sort of put the right. So there are now product evolving, I see, where they are building surrounding tool and it's not standalone virtual try-on. The other interesting use case which we have seen, especially we launched in Reliance this, what we call as next generation store, which is Assault stores, right? Where we have taken it to the physical retail. And we have smart trial rooms, which reduces significantly the friction of consumer. Consumer traveling between aisle and the trial room and trying out different things. So you take whatever you like to the trial room, and then you can try it on how it looks. You can look at the variations, different colors, and not just that. You can look at the matching, so if you have bought a shirt, what is the matching skirt or trouser, matching bag, and all that in a room, and then it would get delivered to you in the trial room. So we are seeing significant traction on that technology, and why I'm very delighted about is that how this whole virtual try-on or fitting between the digital platform and the physical retail is now converging. And if we can feed the signal from one channel to another, we can also better solve this problem on the pure digital platform, right? And of course, with this whole digital avatars, digital design thing, it's also becoming now very fast and rapid that you can iterate with various designs. You create a digital version, digital avatar, digital clothing, and you can literally iterate over the designs very quickly without wasting a lot of physical material, helping sustainability, helping wastage, and it gives almost infinite expression to the creativity of a designer. Right? So I see that trend becoming very phenomenal and very powerful. And then with virtual try-on, you can also engage customer to customize whatever designer has put, and then you can learn from that customization and then sort of bring to the physical reality what you see is working. Right? So it would help in reducing cost. It would help in time of iteration. It would give you limitless choices, and it will also be a big cost towards sustainability. Reducing all the effects on the environment that textile produces. So at least I am very excited about this whole trend and how it is converging.
So, Ambuj, we have touched upon one aspect, which is virtual try room. I want to know from you, what are the other innovations which are actually driving sustainability in the fashion sector?
Yeah. So, Pankaj, it will be really very interesting to have a conversation after this, because I'm really interested in virtual draping of saris, and let's talk later. One of the things that we don't worry about is size, because sari is a free size on-stitch garment. It's been around for 5,000 years. It's a design wonder, and we don't acknowledge that enough. Coming to innovation and sustainability, Charu, I think the world is really waking up now. In a study published by the journal Environmental Science and Technology, microplastics have been found in human hearts. Now that's something, right? And microplastics are now found in our bloods, in our brains, and on our hearts. A heart full of gold any day, but a heart full of plastics. I'm sure nobody is a taker for that. And trust me, even though I'm not a doctor, life in plastic is not fantastic, whether it is inside of you or you're wearing it on your skin. Some more stock data, 20% of world's wastewater comes from the fashion industry. 10% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, come from the production of apparel and footwear. And I think we all have to sit up and take notice and take share of the blame. And every brand should look in the mirror and make that change. Now let's get to the root of it. And the root of all of this is the fiber that we're working with. It all boils down to that to begin with. And I'm sure all of you know, but just to reiterate, it's the time that each fiber takes to decompose. When it comes to cotton, it's about a week to a few months. When it comes to silk, it's less than 4 years. It's more robust. Wool is about less than 5 years. Nylon is about 50 years. It can take up to 50 years to decompose. And polyester, the biggest villain of all, takes up to 200 years to decompose. And that's where all the brands have to really look up and see that we got to work with sustainable fibers. And I'm really waiting for that EV revolution in the apparel industry and the fashion industry, and that's going to come. Whether it comes to government, regulations, or it's just the Gen Z really, taking up and really making it a fight and canceling brands that are still so focused on unsustainable fibers is going to come. And even though we say, let's say we deal with cotton and silk primarily, But even cotton, though it sounds very humble, it's not a very humble fiber, because cotton plant is a water guzzler. It takes in just a lot of water to grow cottons. And therefore, there are other alternates to cotton, which is organic cotton, or cotton that is grown through sustainable farming, which reduces the amount of water that it requires to grow that plant. And also it uses less or absolutely no fertilizers and insecticides or pesticides. So organic cotton is one. And when you come to silk, silk takes a lot of chemicals for the bleaching, for the a lot of processes are involved in terms of making it ready to be woven into a garment. And also the alternate to silk is peace silk, but or ahimsa silk as it is called, but it is very difficult to get in those quantities for commercial production. Alternate to silk, as I was talking about earlier, is filaments like what Tencent Lux has produced by Lenzing, that's the company name. And I'm sure there is a lot more innovation going on in terms of how we can have the same sheen, luster, and strength of the material when it comes to replacing silk. And there's a lot of innovation going on around that. And we are happy to work with a lot of these companies that are growing sustainable fibers. Apart from that, if you see denim, now denim, the cotton again goes back to cotton, but the important issue in denim is the dyeing. You would have seen pictures of rivers in China which are completely blue because of the dyeing that's happening. And even there's another process called sandblasting, which is used to produce denims, and that leads to a very severe health crisis called silicosis. The way for denim is maybe to go to organic cotton or maybe something else. May not have all the answers right now. There are a lot of innovation happening in other kinds of botanic origin fibers, let's say hemp. Hemp is the marijuana plant that you know, and it's regulated, it's banned, but it's a very good alternate to growing, sustainable fiber, and garments can be made out of hemp. Bamboo is another one that's also catching up, and it has very good properties, temperature regulating properties. It doesn't require a lot of water to grow, or fertilizers, or pesticides. So there's a lot of innovation happening around that, and all the brands, we should take notice of that, and we should try to do some pilots with some of these fibers that's available and where work is really going on. If you think of, let's say there is a company in Germany that's working on seaweeds, fiber from seaweeds. There is a company in Belgium that's working on 100% recyclable fiber that's made from corn. Now these are 100% biodegradable and they don't leave any impact on the environment. And I think all the brands that are present here, even outside, let's take note of this and make that change. We are doing that. I would urge all of you to really look at it and take notice of that. Apart from this, there are a lot of new business models now that are emerging, which the biggest one is the rentals model. It's doing very well in the US, and this company called Reformation, I'm sure some of you know that. That's doing extremely well. There are models which are based on upcycling. So you wear a cloth, you return it, and then it's upcycled. So it doesn't even leave any impact on the environment. Now there's a NGO called Ellen MacArthur Foundation that works on circular economy across industries. And that has estimated that in the last 15 years, the production of clothes has gone up, it's doubled, but the utilization of clothes, that's the number of times we wear a cloth before we throw it away, has gone down by 1/3. It's gone down by 36%. Now, these are some stock numbers. I think all of us should take notice of that and work on it. So a lot of innovation happening around sustainability. I think that's all I have to say right now.
Yeah, I think so. I just want to give one add-on to what Ambuj mentioned, right? Especially, usually when we talk about sustainability, we always talk about fabric or how we can kind of make it better or the process. One thing which we did differently, and I just want to kind of add on here is how can you develop products which can be used for multiple purposes, okay? So typically women have a lot of bras, which obviously kind of, you have to wear different bra with a t-shirt, different if you're wearing a halter neck, or, you know, like the ladies will kind of understand. We did something called a 9-way bra. So basically it's one bra, but you can actually wear it 9 ways. So you can pair it with different kind of outerwear. So this is also a sustainability kind of, what I would say is that where you are nudging the consumer that there can be different utilities of the same bra. We have developed sports bra which can be used for both say a medium impact activity and a high impact activity. It is not that you need to have 2 separate bras for probably your active, you know, like an active or an activity what you're doing. So it's also, I feel innovation is there in everywhere. Fiber is something, yes, we need to do, but it is also about thinking out of the box on how you can create that value for the consumer with the same product and nudge them to use it in different ways. That is also important. And as brands, I feel we have to give that option to the consumers where they have that choice with them. You know, so different approach to the sustainability, but we need to kind of look at that way.
You also wanted to add something.
Yeah. Actually, we at Nykaa Fashion have launched a brand called Glute, which is a fully sustainable brand. It's the men's underwear brand, innerwear brand. And so one of the t-shirts is 100%, actually the only main t-shirt is 100% recycled plastic bottles. And it's actually sold in packets which are with zipper, and we've written you can use it to keep your shaving cream, blah, 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 later on. Please try and recycle it. We have got organic cotton, which has got treated in a way that the consumption of dyes and waters has been reduced by almost 70% in the way it's been constructed. And I think it's about intent, and I truly believe that while if we can just work towards leaving whatever we are doing and in whatever we are doing and to whatever effect that we can have within the environment around us, let's try and leave the world a better place than what we got it as. I think it's very difficult to say, okay, this is sustainability. I can do lensing. I can do this level of cotton. Can I go to this level of vendor? It's not possible for everybody. But whatever you can do around you, and as a brand, what we can do, we should definitely start working towards that.
So innovation actually is possible while weaving sustainability into your business. So I want to start from you again, Pankaj, and ask the same question to all the panelists over here. How the brands can innovate going ahead in the future, maybe using technology or maybe not using the technology. However, they can innovate further.
Yeah, I think as Pooja mentioned, it is firstly about intent and creating value for the consumer and the partners in the ecosystem. With that mindset, I think you would always have the right impactful innovations. Right? We have already spoken a lot about consumer-facing things, and Lavanya briefly touched about supply chain, but that's where I think I would just like to add on a few more things, that there is a huge innovation happening around supply chain. Before Reliance, I was working with a SaaS company, logistics, Fareye, and we were serving different consumer. So a lot of automation in warehouse, which even in Reliance with our acquired company Adverb, we had been driving. A micro-fulfillment center, placing inventory closer to the point of consumption, which also helps in reducing the environmental impact of logistics. In fact, at Fareye, we were measuring how many miles we have saved, indirectly impacting the environment. The other important thing I see is the blockchain, which I just want to briefly touch upon, to bring the authenticity and transparency into entire supply chain. But I think the crux of it is that instead of focus being I want to beat competition, it should be I want to create value for my ecosystem or consumer or stakeholder, and then pick technology or process whatever and sort of make things more efficient or bring new.
Ambuj.
Fully agree with you, Pankaj, when you said that. And I think today we cannot innovate without technology, but even before technology comes strategy. And what's a strategy for the brand? What's a vision for the brand? And wouldn't take much time, but I would just say that, any strategy where sustainability is not a part of that strategy is not going to last long. So we all must include sustainability into our strategy, and technology is only an enabler. We all have to really, have that mindset to really make that change. And I would like to just end on, go back to, and I can borrow from Bob Dylan, is, yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he does not see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thanks.
Lavanya.
Yeah, very well said, Ambuj. I think so for me, or for Zivame, innovation is obviously, like I said, it's in heart of the organization itself. But what we are trying to do is we are obviously trying to cater to the women. So we start something with Z-Girl, and we kind of track her throughout the journey till about seniority. There are so many things or the consumer problems which are really not solved. I feel that we are focused on innovation, on solving the needs of the women from her, say, as a girl till she kind of say maturity, all the problems what we are there, and how we can actually solve that through innovative products is something which we are looking at it as a core of our business.
Like I said, actually, for us, it's really simplifying life for Indian women in whether it's their beauty or their fashion needs. And we continue to innovate at every point, whether it's marketing or whether it's retail experience or it is brand creations, new brands getting launched, new channels getting launched. And the way we conduct our business is extremely focused on the consumer. And I'm quite confident that technology is the reason why we've reached where we have. And I really doubt that we'll be able to move forward without technology. So there's no question about that, especially with the kind of technology which is coming into place. So for example, last week I was at a meeting in which they presented something which is an AI-generated content completely. You'll feel like as if the influencer has not shot the video, but she's actually done it herself. Like it's not been generated by computer. It's the same tonality, same consumer expression, same, everything is the same. So it's almost like before you can think technology is going to move and it's going to deliver something super exciting. So I'm quite confident that we'll be right there listening to it and hopefully leading it as well for the consumers.
So I started the session on a very lighter note, mentioning Urfi Javed, but all thanks to you, I'm going very informed today. So thank you for a wonderful panel, and I would have loved to take the questions, but we have got a time's up, heads up. So we'll have to wrap it up over here. The speakers are around. You can, if you have any questions, you can take it around. They're around. So time is up actually right now. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.